This movie called Big Time Movie. You ever heard of this movie with the Big Time Rush of band on the, I guess it's the Disney Channel or Nickelodeon or something?
I remember hearing
The boy band, Big Time Rush. Anyway, well, we did this movie called Big Time Movie. And it was produced and directed by the guy who does Johnny Test. Anyway.
Oh no, not
don't
Test.
start. But I read for this movie, and the guy who was named Scott Fellows is a crazy man. And he goes, "You're crushing it, I'm loving this, go, go, go." And I go, "Okay, thank you very much." So they gave me, at the end of the day, they gave me the part, and asked me to come in the next day and read with all the female parts that I was going to be working with. And because they wanted to have a partner for me that was going to spell off nicely. So I said, sure, I'll do that. Now, I've sat behind audition tables a couple of times and watched, and to me, it's a ridiculously impossible process, because a lot of times everybody's really, really good. So they brought in these 5 women, and every one of them were really nice. 4 of them were prepared and did a really good job. 1 was not prepared and didn't do a good job, so she was an easy eliminate. But the 4 that prepared, every one of them brought something special and wonderful to that part. And at the end of it, I'm listening, and I'm sitting behind the table reading with them. And I'm going, well, you guys, you got your job cut up for it. I don't know who I would pick here, because every one of them was great. So how do you decide? And so they said, well, we don't know, but you're absolutely right. It's a very tough decision. And so they came back, and the director came back, who was a guy who directs all the, he's a comedy director, did all the little Sabrina the Teenage Witch and that, named Savage Holland, Steve Savage Holland. Right, yeah. Or Savage Steve Holland. Anyway, he says, well, this one girl, she's got this tiny little bit of vulnerability in this one little line, and that sold me on that character. And all the others, and when I thought back to it, I went, yeah. The other side of the coin is, I was doing a miniseries called Small Sacrifices many years ago, Farrah Fawcett. They were casting the lawyer, her defense lawyer, and they hadn't cast it yet, and they've already been shooting for 2 weeks. So they brought 5 well-known character actors in from Toronto to read for this part. They taped them in Toronto. They brought it out to Edmonton. And she said, Gary, come and have a look. We're just going to have a look at the lawyer. And I said, okay. So we're looking at the lawyers. All 5 of them were like, veterans, 30-year veterans. And every one of them did the part almost exactly the same. Right. Because that's logic.
Right, sure.
They all did it really, really well. And they couldn't make up their mind. So that the producer, whose name was Lou Rudolph at the time, he turns around and he goes to his wife, honey, come here. Who do we hire? I mean, we can't make the decision. I swear to God, this is what happened. She goes, I love that yellow tie. The guy with the yellow tie. Yeah. And that's how they hired him.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I love the guy with the yellow tie.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't it wasn't offensive in any way. It's just that every one of them did a fabulous job. And so she broke the impasse by saying the yellow tie.
Yeah.
Blow my mind.
I mean, I did a VO
Coin toss would have been more fair.
I'm going to buy yellow ties.
There you go. Yeah, but
Well, I'll go out and buy a yellow
for
tie.
somebody who hates it, when you run that risk.
Exactly.
No, and you've done, I'm sure you guys have done jobs where it's like 2 words or 1 quick line, and you sit there and figure, how did I get this? They just flip through the player's directory and go, how did this
Yeah.
Yeah. It happens.
Well, I was saying to somebody at my table earlier today, when you reach a certain tier of the pond, I mean, we see each other in waiting rooms, and there's a point at which everybody who auditions is essentially worthy of the job. Yeah. Everybody's got the chops. Everybody is capable of getting this job, and there's I mean, I feel like in the voiceover community in particular, it's good natured. Somebody's going to get it, but not because everybody in the room is not worthy of it. it's going to go wherever it goes. And maybe because somebody has on the yellow tie or the vocal equivalent of the yellow tie. It can be that, you know.
That tough for them to make a decision.
It can be that tough.
It's
for
the
them to
mood
make-
of the universe is what it is.
Well, I went
It's the
to
town.
I went to an audition a few weeks back, and I drive up, and there's Dave Fenoy in the parking lot. I go upstairs, and Dave and I are sitting there, and in walks Jim Cummings, and next in walks Dave Sobolov, and next in walks Gregg Berger, and I'm thinking to myself with each new face, A, if I don't get this, I'm gonna be happy if any of these guys get it, because I like when the good guys work, and B, I guess I am fairly talented. If I'm going to be thought of in this group of people, with Jim Cummings and Gregg Berger and Dave Fenoy and big voice David Sobolov, it's like
David Sobolov.
yeah, it's like I guess I'm okay if I'm considered with this group.
Yeah.
You know?
There you go.